you simply cannot exercise off a bad diet. So, people have a misconception of how much you burn. I'll work out with someone and I think it's, 2,000 calories. No, you're barely burning that when you run a half marathon, by the way. Yeah. So you cannot exercise off a bad diet. So really, I tell people, if you can start with one thing, let's change the diet.
Welcome to The Defense Never Rests with Morgan and Akins, your monthly dose of uncommon sense about all things legal and some that are not.
Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to The Defense Never Rests. I am your host, Trisha Baxter. And like I've said probably many times before, I'm super excited about this show. It's a personal show for me. It is about health and fitness. Happy New Year. What a time to have this kind of podcast, this kind of topic, which is what is everybody talking about the first week in January? New Year's resolutions, how to get healthy, how to lose weight. So we figured we would do that. We are a defense litigation podcast. We are, hopefully our listeners are people who deal with the billable hour, who are behind a desk, who are eating out all the time. And it's tricky sometimes. And I've struggled with this. So it's, I think, a very timely topic. Joining me today is a co-host, first time ever, my partner, Megan Henry. Hey, Megan, how are you?
Good morning.
So Megan's here because you are super into fitness. I don't know how you do.
Try.
You do. You have 2 kids. You're a partner in a firm. You run your own caseload. It's hard to do, right? And you fit it in.
I try my best.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about is how we can help people, and I'm hoping to get some good tips myself today. And for that, our guest is awesome. She is a former lawyer, practiced for 10 years, was squarely in the billable hour format, and then left to open up her own company. And she is a prominent corporate wellness coach. So welcome, Megan O'Neill. Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So if you could just give our listeners a background of how you got here.
So I was in the corporate world, defense attorney for a long time. Prior to that, I was at the Philly DA's office. And health and wellness was always very important to me. But when I got into that world, it became just a little bit crazier to keep up with it. So it was really important to me to find ways that I could do that. And over that 10 years, I think I won't say perfected it, but I found ways that I was able to help myself. And I wanted to leave and help other people do the same. I know how hard it is with billable hours, travel, staying in an office, and it was really important to me to figure out, okay, how can I do all of that and not sacrifice my health? Because without that, I can't work, I can't do anything.
Yeah. And that's what I love about you, because there's, at least in the legal world or the insurance world, getting trainers who understand what your day-to-day is so hard. You've walked that walk, so you understand what it means to have a daily billable hour requirement and how to fit that in, and fitness, and how to do that when you're behind a desk 9-10 hours a day, if not more sometimes, and how to fit that in. So what I found when I've worked with you is your tips are so actionable, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's get into it.
Absolutely.
Our first topic is, how do we stay active in the office? Talk about some of the things that we can do.
So if you're in the office for a good chunk of the day, there's things that you can do. And honestly, it really is about moving. So, you always hear calories in versus calories out. That's the truth. So you want to be able to burn more calories than you're taking in. So simple things like park a little bit further away. If you're in a lot that's 2 blocks away, park, half a mile away. Yeah. Start there and then take it to another mile. And so you're walking to and from work.
Yeah, I tend to do that. Like, I'll get off the train a stop or two early and just walk in, and I'll get my coffee on the way, just so I'm walking a little bit further, getting more steps in each day, and it really helps.
It helps. I mean, and that's the other thing I want to say is, just when you mentioned steps, is so many people think, when I work with them, especially in the corporate world, I'm walking 8, probably 10,000 steps a day. In reality, when we actually track it either on their iPhone or on their watches, it's more like 3. I mean, so you are really sedentary when you're in that office environment. If you're sitting at desks, or if you're reviewing documents, or wherever you're just kind of sitting, you're not moving. So anything you can do to move, and I would say, first off, track it. You don't have to get an expensive tracker, but a Fitbit, if you have a Garmin, an iPhone, anything has the tracking app, do it.
And then what happens when you get in the office and you're typing away on your computer? How do you fit in that movement?
So literally move anytime you can. So if you're in your office and you can walk around, if you can use the steps instead of the elevator, if you can literally just walk a loop during conference calls, anything you can do to move, move.
Yeah, that's my thing. Every time I'm on a phone call, I just pace around. Even when I work from home, I'll just walk around my house in circles and I get extra steps because I'm not walking in from the train station, so I have to do something to get extra movement in.
Any kind of movement. Anything you can do to move, you do it.
And that's what I do too when I work from home. I literally pace. I have a loop that I go around my kitchen, my living room, and I can do maybe like 50 loops and get like 1,000 steps when I'm on the phone.
100%. You can move so much just in your office. And if you're in your office and you can't, it's not realistic to, hey, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do a quick loop. Do squats. Bring a resistance band to work and put it at your legs. Nobody even sees you. But you can stand up. You can do squats. You can do a little bit of leg movement. Anything you can do that you are literally not just sitting, you got to do it.
What about fitting in a workout? How do you do that when you have to bill 8 or 10 hours a day?
So here's the thing. You just do it.
Yeah.
You have to build in the time. So especially in the corporate world, if you have to put it on your calendar like you would anything else. So if you have a dep at 2:00, you guys are going to show up, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to not go.
Right. I might lose my license if we don't show up.
And if you have a court appearance down the street or in different state or wherever you are, you're not going to not show up. Mm-hmm. So you got to show up for yourself. Put it on the calendar and show up.
Yeah.
And there is no excuses. Like, you just got to do it.
I like that. And I think sometimes, like, when I get on the treadmill, because my treadmill is my go-to. I don't have a problem working out. It's the food that I have a problem with. And the wine. I love my wine. And I know Megan has given me advice. We can talk about that later. But getting on the treadmill, and even if, like, you have an argument, like if you're going to discovery court the next day or you're in a mediation, you have an opening statement, is to get on the treadmill and practice it out loud. And that way you can bill for it. I mean, you can bill for practicing. So you're actually working out and billing at the same time. So
100%. And some offices do have tread desks and bicycle desks. A lot of them don't. If you have one, use it. Yeah. Absolutely. Use anything in your office that they provide. Anything fitness-wise that they provide, use it. And if they don't, and you're at home, like you said, you can do a lot on the treadmill. You can practice an opening and closing. You can practice for your dep. You can walk very slow and still read on the treadmill. I do it all the time. So anything that you can do to keep burning calories and keep your heart rate up and strengthen your heart so that your overall resting heart rate is going to be lower is going to help.
So let's talk to the person that just heard all of that about fitting in and scheduling a workout and is going to completely ignore it, all right? And from a reality, it's just not going to happen. Is there still benefit to fitting in those kind of micro movements during the day? If you don't work out, like, is the second best thing is to do what you said, park further away and do things like that?
Oh, 100%. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you are still moving, and that's the best way is to track the steps, you'll see that. So you may not start off and say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to run 3 miles on the treadmill and practice my opening and closing and do all this. But you might just say, all right, I could do that. I could park a little bit further. I could walk to work if I'm close enough. I could do that. And I think eventually you see, okay, well, that was like an extra 2,000 steps. Oh, this is something. And it does make a difference. So that extra movement every day makes a difference for your heart rate, makes a difference overall cardio health, makes a difference for blood pressure and A1C coming down for diabetes. So yes, if you're moving, you're good.
Moving equals positive.
Absolutely.
No matter what it is.
Absolutely.
Okay. What about healthy eating? And we'll put that in the first category, because I think you gave me advice a couple of years ago when I wasn't working out, just start moving, right? So I've been working out consistently, but I still have 30 pounds to lose because it's the eating. Like, how do you fit in healthy eating at the office?
Well, and let me just start by saying, and I can't say this enough, you simply cannot exercise off a bad diet. So, people have a misconception of how much you burn. I'll work out with someone and they think it's, 2,000 calories. No, you're barely burning that when you run a half marathon, by the way. Yeah. So you cannot exercise off a bad diet. So really, I tell people, if you can start with one thing, let's change the diet. Let's fix little things at a time.
So let's talk about that. You have, let's say you have a deposition and you know that I don't know, do you pack lunches for depositions?
No, but what I often pack is like Kind bars or like something that will keep me full, and I'm less likely to just get a bag of chips or something like that, or eat candy or something. I try to, even though Kind bars has chocolate, at least they have a lot of protein, and that'll hold me over till the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good advice. 'Cause that's what I always struggle with is when I'm in like a long mediation and they order food for you,
Yeah.
or you're in a deposition and I'm starving by the time we take a break and I just want to shovel anything in my mouth. Like, how do you? I guess you have to plan for that, right?
You have to plan. And it's just like Megan said, you can do easy planning with, you want to, if you're going to do the bars, you want to just look at bars that have more protein, less sugar. But you could do bars. You could do RX bars. You can do Kind bars. You can bring nuts. Nuts are filling.
Right.
They're high in calories, so you got to limit it to, a quarter cup of nuts. But a quarter cup of nuts, a bar, some fruit, you're getting filled and not eating all the junk that they have there. But what you can't do is you can't go 4 or 5 hours at a dep,
Right.
6, 7 hours sometimes, where nobody wants to take a break. We all know that kind of dep. And you're starving. You're going to overeat at the end.
Well, and the great thing too with nuts now, they have those small single serving, like tiny little nut strips that you're not going to have like a giant, Trader Joe's bag that you're going to eat the whole bag at a time.
Exactly.
You're limited already.
Yeah.
Because not being funny, but like people go nuts with nuts. I mean, you can eat 1,200 calories of nuts, no problem, and think that you just really gave yourself like a big boost of health.
Yeah.
So you just got to watch the portions on that. But there's so many snacks you can bring. So, to depths, to in between court appearances, in between just reviewing files that are going to hold you over. So that way when you get to the meal, you'll appropriately eat and not just eat everything in sight. Right.
I remember, just a side note, I was a dep when I was pregnant, and I pulled out snacks while the lead attorney was questioning, was a plaintiff's counsel, and he gave me crap about eating during the dep. I'm like, look, buddy, we've gone 5 hours. I'm pregnant. I am eating. But I was like, at that point, I'm like, I don't care. Like, if you're hungry, before you get to the point of being hangry, and really just want to eating everything, is just to eat that little bit of a snack, even if it's in the middle of a dep or whatever.
And everyone gives you that side eye when they hear you opening the bag.
Yeah. Well, we've all been there where you're starving, and then somebody at the table's like, hey, should we just go through? We're just going to go through for another 3 hours. So you got to have something there, because there's always going to be that one attorney that wants to just go through for 6, 7, 8 hours and without a break.
All right, so snacks, be prepared. Maybe stash them in your office, stash them in your briefcase. Be prepared to stop that hunger from setting in before it sets in.
Exactly.
What about, you can't pack a lunch? What are some of the besides salads, or maybe it is only salads, for lunches, what are some of the best lunches or go-to lunches that you recommend if you're on the go?
So eating out?
Yes, eating out.
So if you're eating out, you want to think about, number one, protein, right? Because protein's going to fill you up. And if you're going to have a carb, you want to think about some like clean, healthy carb, not just like a bunch of processed stuff. So there's places all over that you can go. Besides just salads, you could do a wrap, you can do a stir fry, but you want to just think about adding in more protein, less bread. And so that you're getting that big boost of protein during the day, and then less carbs during the day. You want to slim that down.
Okay. More protein, less carbs. And I know you're anti-pasta, right? No pasta. What about breads? I mean, you said wraps. Wraps are okay?
Yeah, if you look for some sort of low-carb wrap, or if you're having a wrap and you're having a big chunk of, chicken or turkey, or if you're vegetarian, you're having a bunch of vegetables on there. But you're not then going to have for dinner, if you're still stuck at work, a turkey sandwich with a bunch of bread.
Okay.
You want to just kind of limit that during the day.
Okay. All right. Those are good tips. All right, well, let's move on to the next topic, which is kind of what we were just talking about. Avoiding junk food in the office, especially when we are just coming off the Christmas holidays, where, I don't know if you get the same thing, we get constant donuts and cookies and popcorn. How do you, I mean, come on. You can't stay away from that.
And chocolate brittle. So what you got to do is, again, it's all about balance. I mean, life in general, health in general is balance. So yes, you can have a little bit of that, but then you got to say to yourself, okay, what did I eat for the rest of the day? And did I move enough to burn this off? The other thing is, like, that stuff in your body adds up and makes you feel bad after a while. It's a sugar rush. You come down, you feel terrible, and you end up hungrier. So sugar causes sugar cravings. So yeah, have a little bit of that, but just monitor what you're eating for the rest of the day. And you can do that by, again, being stocked up in the office. So have all the non-refrigerated snacks in your desk. I mean, bring in at the beginning of the week like a big bag of, the nuts that you were just talking about, the little calorie packets of nuts, 100 calories, and then, some bars, other things you can have in your desk, even like the little Halo oranges. They're low in sugar and they're small, 40
But
calories.
I'll have like 5 of them sometimes. That's not.
So 5 might not be the best. We probably want to limit it to 2.
All right.
And then the rest, stick in your fridge. If you have a group, an office fridge, stick all that stuff in there. You can bring in yogurt and cheese sticks and lunch as much as you can and stock up. So it's not like you're going to have to bring it every day, because we're not going to do that. Let's be honest. We are not going to bring snacks every day.
And I try to think of the treat stuff as, where would I yell at my kids that they can't have another treat? Because I'm always like, no, you can't have a cookie. You just had a cookie an hour ago. Well, then why should I be able to have 2 cookies? So I just think of what would frustrate me, or I would yell at my kids, no, you can't eat that. And if I'm going to yell at them saying they can't eat that, then I shouldn't be eating it either.
Does that work for you?
No,
Okay.
but I try.
No, that
I
is
like
a
the
good one.
tip though.
My kids call those cabinet snacks, so I do like that idea. If you would not let them have a cabinet snack, then you got to tell yourself no. And there's tons that you could eat that is healthy.
And I'll even say something maybe a little bit far out there. Maybe talk to the boss, the managing partner, who has that relationship with the vendor who's sending that stuff in, and say, next year if you want to send something we really love, how about like one of those fruit things, like the, I don't know, what's it called? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the fruit bouquet.
Yeah, the edible
fruit
arrangements.
bouquets, or maybe something that's more on the healthy side.
I
like-
might get a little pushback. If
I
you
might
start
get
doing that.
but if that's really a concern and you are taking on a weight loss journey, I think I know for me, that's what I always try to figure out, what kind of healthy stuff can we bring in here. It doesn't always work, but that's a conversation you can have. All right, so let's talk about eating out with clients. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but for those people, whether you're a client yourself and you're constantly being entertained, or you're a lawyer taking out clients, how do you maneuver the situation with that kind of food?
Well, and that's something you need to, again, it's kind of like the snacks. You need to prep for that before you even go. So if it's a restaurant, most restaurants that are nicer restaurants aren't going to have the calories on them. Chain restaurants are all required to, especially in the cities. So look that up beforehand. Even if they don't have the calories, figure out where you're going with the clients at night and look up the menu so that when you get there, you can pay attention to them without scrambling through the menu and trying to figure out what would be, somewhat healthy to eat. And again, you want to look for something that's, low on carbs. Skip as much pasta as you can. Look for protein. And, if you can, if it's a dinner, it's like a buffet or anything like that, and you can load up a little bit on the other stuff beforehand, eat the vegetables, eat the shrimp, eat anything that's not just crackers and chips and pretzels and dips.
The bread baskets.
The bread baskets, yes. Let's try to avoid the bread baskets. Alcohol. Like you could have 1,000 calorie drink with 65 grams of sugar. So skip that. Try to go for clear alcohols.
Oh, see, maybe if you have somebody, if you're talking to somebody who's not going to skip it, what would you recommend?
Right. Because most people that I say, look, the best option is skip it, they're not going to skip it. So you want to go for clear alcohols.
Like
you want
vodkas
vodka club. Right. So you're
not that we're
talking-
promoting drinking, but
Not that we're promoting drinking by any means, but if you're still going to drink, which most people are still going to have at least 1 or 2, especially out with clients, go for something that's going to be 100 calories, 2 carbs, rather than load you up with sugar and carbs, which also, if you have that before dinner, you're going to eat more at dinner.
Yeah.
So if you load up on sugary drinks, you're going to eat more.
So no endless Long Island iced teas out with clients.
That's probably not the best. So I'd probably skip that and move on to the clear.
what about those seltzer ones? Those what are those
I
called?
love those. The high noons.
Maybe.
Like
You know what I'm
the-
talking
like
about?
the flavored
hard-
seltzers.
Claws, yeah.
Yeah.
White Claws. That's what I'm talking about. Are those good?
So yeah, they're fine. So seltzer's not the best to drink all the time. You don't want to replace water with that. But sure, I mean, they're lower carbs. Some of them have some sugar in them, but most are low sugar.
So just a sidetrack on that. So we just got like a soda stream because I find that the carbonated water is more refreshing. So you're saying it's not as good to drink that carbonated water versus regular water?
So it's not, especially for women. So seltzer over long periods of time, carbonation, not just soda, but carbonation in general, they've done a bunch of studies on them. Some are inconclusive, but recent hospitals just in the Philly area have done them and found that it actually does leach calcium right from your bones.
I've heard that. That's like a recent study too, right?
It's a recent study, and I've spoken to the doctors about them at all the local hospitals here, and they're pretty adamant that they actually are accurate.
Oh, they're so refreshing.
They are kind of refreshing. And once in a while, it's like anything else, it's like fake sugar. Once in a while, that's fine. But if you're loading up on that, it's not the best. And we're prone as women to osteoporosis anyway, so you want to kind of skip that.
I've heard that too, and I love my Diet Coke, and I know you constantly. Every time I go out with Megan, it's the easiest meal to go out to because I just wait for her to order, and I just say, "Can I have the same thing?" And then I know I can't have my Diet Coke. She's gonna give me the side eye.
No, there's a definite no Diet Coke rule.
All right, so eating out. Look at the menu ahead of time. Know what you're going to order ahead of time. I love that advice because that's what when you get there and you really want your focus to be on the client. You don't want to be worried about what you're ordering, and are you ordering a 2,000 calorie entree?
And it takes away from time to talk to the client. If you already have an idea of what you're ordering, you're not looking at the menu trying to figure out what to eat. You already know, and you can just focus on them.
Yeah.
Exactly, and don't be afraid to do substitutions. Or if they have grilled salmon with this terrible sauce on it that is not good, or a bunch of sides that aren't good, just substitute it. I know I go out all the time and with my corporate clients, and I get salmon or whatever seafood, and I just say hold the sauce.
So Megan, just so that listeners can get appreciation, when she is like when you've ever seen Harry Met Sally, know that part where she orders. You are a master orderer. Whenever you go out, and that's why I say I love going out with you because I never have to worry about what I'm going to eat because you were like, hold this, have this side, extra veggies, extra protein. It's perfect. So
I'm the waitress's worst nightmare. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but you're so nice about it. So that's all that matters. All right, so let's talk about kind of that entertaining air travel and hotels. We have clients that fly in for mediations. I fly out for mediations and entertaining. How do you maneuver that and stay healthy?
So the first thing is the airports. And let's be honest, some are great. I mean, I've been in some lately that I'm blown away by the healthy choices, and some are terrible. So again, you got to plan for that. If you're going and you're going to be in the airport, between the airport and traveling, by the time you get to your destination, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, you got to have snacks. Because the airplanes anymore, they're going to give you pretzels and those little cookies. That's it. So that's not going to do it. So bring snacks with you in your bag, in your briefcase, whatever, so that you're ready on the plane. At the airport, most of us business travelers know how to get there, and time it exactly right. But if you have a layover or delay, whatever, walk in the airport. I mean, you can get in. Some of these airports are huge. You can get in, 5,000, 6,000 steps in the airport.
It's so true, especially like Atlanta. Yeah. Atlanta has their trains. Like you just bypass the trains and you walk all the way. It's got to be a mile. At least that's what it feels like.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, if you're carrying heavy bags, you can't. But if you have a wheelie bag, sure, you could do that. And you're just pulling your suitcase. Phoenix, I was just there. It's a big airport. I walked up and down. I probably got 2 miles.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is, so that's kind of how you start. Being healthy on the beginning of your trip. And the other thing, again, plan. Like, look at the hotel that if you're booking it or you have control over where you're staying, look at a hotel that has a gym. Yeah. Even a small, little, tiny hotel gym, look for one that has a gym. So you will be motivated to do something.
I like that. And, I think you can, just going back to the airline thing, you can look up the airline and see what meals they have on that flight. They sometimes run out, but sometimes they have decent options. They may have a turkey sandwich or something, or if you don't see any healthy options, make sure you get to the airport early enough to buy something to take on. And then you can also map out your airport that you're arriving, and maybe you book a earlier flight so that you can take that time to walk to the baggage claim versus taking the tram or whatever it is.
Well, exactly. And even shout out to Philly Airport because just looking at their options lately, they have now at La Colombe Coffee, they have an entire section there where you can get yogurt bowls and, different smoothie bowls that are really actually healthy. It's plain yogurt and you can get granola and fruit and almonds, anything you like. So you can kind of fill up on that. And they do have healthy choices now.
Yeah. What would you say, though? A lot of times we have to travel for a long ride in the car. Like sometimes I'm in the car for 4 hours. Is there anything I can do while I'm in the car driving to a DEP or a client visit or whatever it may be that I'm sitting there in 8 hours round trip sometimes? Is there anything I can do while I'm driving?
Well, the good thing about driving too, as opposed to flying, it's not like you can bring a cooler on the plane or any kind of refrigerated food, but in the car you can. So if you just I have a little travel cooler because I'm always traveling to clients, and I'll be in the car, same thing, 4 or 5 hours during the day. You can bring carrots and hummus, you can bring fruit, you can bring cheese sticks, you can bring hard-boiled eggs. So all stuff that's going to be protein packed that you can just have every couple hours in the car.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're going to stop at a rest stop, same thing. You're never going to get anything
you will get
healthy.
cheese sticks.
You will get cheese sticks.
They always have cheese sticks. That's what I always get. And nuts.
They will have that. That's true. But yeah, and have it with you.
Right.
And it is planned. Like if you are someone who can fit in a workout, you pick a hotel that has a gym. I never check for that. And then I get there and I'm like, I wish they had a gym. But you also these days, most people have an iPhone or some sort of smartphone. You can pull up a YouTube workout of some sort and do it right in your room too. I think sometimes I've done that when I'm like, oh, they don't have a gym, but I actually do have some extra time, so I'll.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely do it in your room. I actually Skype clients who travel all the time, and we work out via Skype from their hotel room. And I will tell you, they are dripping sweat by the end with their own body weight. Or I may have them bring like a little loop resistance band or a jump rope if the ceilings are high enough. But with just your own body weight, you can do it. And again, it's just doing it. It's setting the alarm. It's telling yourself no excuses, and you're going to get up and do something.
And if you really need motivation, hire someone like you and schedule that Skype call ahead of time so you have to show up.
Exactly. And I will be repeatedly calling you on Skype to make sure that you're actually going to be there.
But what do you say to the person who sets the alarm and then you just sleep through it? How do you rebound from that so you can still get that workout in, even though you missed, you scheduled your time, say between 6 and 6:45 a.m. and you just miss it?
You just didn't do it, which happens all the time. Then you gotta look at your schedule and say, okay, is there any time? Because let's be honest, there's always going to be some time that you can do it, right? Even if you work out 30 minutes a day, like 5 days a week. That's 150 minutes a week? Do you know how much time we spend doing other stuff that we don't need to? So you got to say, okay, I didn't work out that time. Is there any time during the day that I'm going to be able to do this? And you got to schedule it in then.
Right.
You just got to do it. Because at the end of the day, and I know this sounds so cliche, but it feels good to feel good.
Yeah, I think when I do work out in the morning, the rest of my day is more positive. I'm more productive. But you tend to forget that sometimes. So when you wake up and you start your day off maybe snoozing or whatever, that's hard to rebound. But just maybe sometimes you chalk up that day and just commit to the next and get moving.
And let me just say, I know this sounds ridiculous. I sleep in my gym clothes.
I know you told me that. I'm like,
in my gym clothes.
I could never sleep in a sports bra. That would be so uncomfortable.
You don't have to sleep in the full sports bra, but you sleep, I do, but you sleep in clothes that you're going to the gym in some fashion. So that way, because what's going to happen is, especially in business travel, let's be honest, if you have to get up, put on full clothes to go to the gym, brush your teeth, do whatever. You might sit down, start reading something, on social media or CNN or whatever. You're just not going to go. But if you are in your gym clothes, sneakers by the door, you are so much more likely to just get up, brush your teeth, walk out.
I will say I do that. I don't sleep in my gym clothes. I sleep in pajamas like a normal person. But I do wear my gym clothes. Like when I work from home, I will have my workout clothes on. That's the first thing I put on, so I have no excuse. So as soon as I have a window of opportunity, say I missed my alarm at 6.
Which you never would.
No. But I keep my gym clothes on, so I will find a time to fit it, and I don't have an excuse that I'm like, oh, well, I have to go get changed or whatever it may be.
Well, exactly, and that's going back to the office too. Like, how do we fit it in at the office? If you have a day where you are just going to leave at a normal time from your office, and you think you're going to work out, well, let me tell you, bring the clothes to the office. Because if you think you're going to go home, relax yourself, do whatever you need at home, change 2 hours later, and go to the gym, that is not going to happen. Yeah. So you bring your clothes, if it's feasible with your family and whatever else you have going on to go after work, you bring your clothes, you go, and then you're done.
Well, so that kind of naturally goes into our next topic, which is office and using the office and office equipment and office benefits. If you bring your clothes, let's talk about, can you fit in a workout during the day, during your work hour? I mean, I always thought I would, and then I'm like, the operational side of that was difficult for me. I'm like, I got to shower, and like it just next thing you know, I spent 2 hours kind of getting back to ground zero, if you will, and then I'm like, I can't do that. So.
Well, and that's definitely true. It's like, can you actually work out where you need a shower? Some offices have showers. It's not a big deal, or they have a gym in there they provide. But even if you just form a little walking group within your own office, even two people, you and a friend go, and you walk at lunch, especially if you're in a big city, you can get in several miles. You don't have to be dripping sweat, but you can get your heart rate up, and you can come back to the office that way and then have lunch or grab healthy lunch on the way back.
Or if you live or if you work near a mall, and you can go to the food court, get something healthy, and then do some loops.
Absolutely.
Around the mall. Be one of those wall
you can be a wall marker.
Mall walker. I couldn't even say it.
You can use the things, so that's outside of the office, but some offices offer benefits, health benefits that a lot of people don't even take advantage of.
So what kind of benefits do you think they should be asking for? or asking if they have?
So you definitely ask, because a lot of people and employees do not realize. But I work with insurance companies, and a lot of their adjusters get different health benefits for gyms. They get discounts at gyms, discounts for trainers. Some companies actually offer a flat out, hey, we're going to give you $500 and you can use it for whatever you like. For a trainer, for the gym, for a piece of equipment. Because at the end of the day, they want their employees to be healthy. It helps them.
Yeah.
Right?
Less sick days, less calling out.
Less sick days, less calling out, better health insurance rates. So use that. If your office has a tread desk, or if they offer anything, use those things that they offer, because it's only going to help you.
Yeah. And like we have stand-up desks, and I think maybe about 50% of the people here use it, because it's you got to get up. You got to get up, and sometimes maybe you're not moving, but at least you're standing. Standing burns a hell of a lot more. Well, not a hell of a lot, but a lot more calories than sitting. So
well, it's great, and it helps your core. Yeah. I mean, standing definitely. If we're sitting like this all day, that's terrible for your back, for your hips, everything. So if you're standing and you've got a nice straight core, you're going to be strengthening your core that way. Yeah. And some offices have stability balls, chairs. That's a great way to strengthen your core all day, because you're sitting up and you got to stabilize with your core muscles.
So ask your HR person what kind of health benefits that they have with the program, because the chances are you probably have something you're not taking advantage of. So talk to them and see what they have. And then look around your office and see what kind of equipment that, standing desks, stability balls, resistance bands, like you said. And if they don't, they're not that expensive. You can buy some and stick them under your desk.
Exactly. You can get a pack of resistance bands for, $8 online on Amazon. So get those, and even, again, something's better than nothing. So do a little bit of something during the day. But definitely check with your, the HR people, because there's a lot of benefits, even if they're small, people don't realize they have. Even something as small as getting physicals every year. Yeah. Do it.
So let's talk about, you can't talk about physical health or weight loss without the component of mental health. And our job in the legal world, the insurance world, is high stress. I mean, it's not high stress every day, but it's certainly probably more so than some of the other professions. How do you incorporate sort of a mental health practice into your daily routine?
So what I like to do is I do get up early every day. I either train clients or, I'm speaking at a company. But no matter what my day entails, I get up at 5:15. So, which I know seems crazy, middle of the night to some people, but that's my time. So I work out at that time every day. And then if I don't work out, because we all need days off, I try to take that time for my own mental health. So I will take that time in the morning to just sit for 10 minutes by myself and just kind of, not think about the day, not have all the to-do lists in my head, but just listen to music, just calmly meditate for a little bit, and just kind of be in like a really good headspace. Because at the end of the day, like I said a few minutes ago, it feels good to feel good. Like, it doesn't feel good to feel bad and feel stressed all the time. So if we don't take care of ourselves emotionally and mentally, everything else, it doesn't matter. Work doesn't matter. Kids, family, you can't be there for them if you're not taking care of yourself.
And this is definitely something I probably struggle with the most. I don't struggle with the physical aspect of working out, but taking the time to kind of detach and turn off my brain for a little bit and refocus. That I made a promise to myself that this year I'm going to be better about taking that time away in a way to clear up my head, because I agree with you. It's just I feel like I'm always go, and now I feel okay, maybe I need to step back a little bit and everything will feel more even keeled.
Yeah, I have the same struggle when you leave. How do you leave the stress at the office? You can't. So you have to incorporate things in your day-to-day practice. I highly recommend a book called The Miracle Morning or The Morning Miracle. I forget which one that has that morning routine, which is so important. Not necessarily 5:15. Maybe you're not a 5:15 person, but maybe you're a 6:30 person, or maybe you get up at 7 and you could possibly set your alarm 15 minutes early, and you could just incorporate a 15-minute or 30-minute practice of reading. In that book, there's like 6 steps that you do, but the one I found most helpful was a gratitude journal, where you just write 3 things that you're grateful for. That's it, and it takes 3 minutes, and then you meditate for 5, and then you try to fit in a workout. But you started your day with that, right? Which is very much, I think, what you already do. Is you start your day with a certain intention to be positive, and then you've set your mindset right for the rest of the day. What do you do during the day as the stress creeps up? Yeah. Is there anything that you can recommend to not stop it, but to either recognize it and deal with it?
Well, that's the most important, especially for lawyers, because you're right. It is a high stress job, and the studies have shown that more attorneys have more health problems than a lot of other professions. So during the day, if you can, I mean, if you're stuck at a debt, fine, but if you can, take the time. Even if it's 10 minutes, you have to step away from your desk. So if you don't have time to go out for lunch and do a whole long hour break, then take 10 minutes, but get away from it for 10 minutes. So take it off, leave the phone, and literally just go for a walk. Get up and just take 10 minutes again. If it's not in the morning, or even if you took it in the morning, take it again, 5 minutes, whatever it is, but you have to take that time.
And without your phone being caged.
Yes.
Without your phone. So turn off the notifications. Nobody wants to do that. We have notifications now for everything. I get notifications from stores, and I'm like, I didn't even put this on. I don't even know what this is. Sometimes during the night, I'm like, what's happening? So I think it's so hard to do, but I've tried that even myself in the last couple months, is turning that off. At night, too, like when you're done the work, like get off the phone.
I've tried sticking it in a drawer. I've turned all my notifications off, by the way. So if you think I'm going to respond to a text, right, it doesn't happen. But stick it in a drawer if you can, and just try to and forget about it. And even if it's temporarily, maybe you wait to put your kids to bed and you know that you're going to do a final check before you go to bed, or maybe not. I know I do that. And then you put it back in the drawer for the next day. So that can be helpful sometimes.
You could do that. And if you really feel like, oh, I need to have this because I might think of something I need to do for work, whatever, what I like to do is put a notebook by the bed and just tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to use the phone. If I think of something that I have to get done, or there's something, for whatever, for a case you're working on or whatever it is, have that. You can quickly write it down. And then I tell myself, now it's like a trap door in my head. I have to let it out. Yeah. Like, that's it. I'm not going to think about this anymore. That's it.
Yeah, I like that. One of the things that I found helpful, I have a Fitbit, and you can set little timers, like once an hour. Like if you haven't moved in a certain amount, they'll buzz you.
Oh yeah, the watch will get you.
Yeah, and they'll all right, remind you to get up. And maybe you can't do it every hour, but maybe it's something that you honor at least once in the morning or something. But
and again, it's just about like getting up and moving. So, and here's the other thing. I mean, the way that we are at offices, it's not put us in good posture. You're always leaning over. It is stressful on your hips. So people have really tight hip flexors who sit in offices all day, and that makes things, you overcompensate on other parts of your body, and then things get hurt. So even if you just get up and stretch, there's a series of stretches you can do, 4 or 5, that are so easy, that I do with people all the time at offices. But that helps. So at least you're moving, you're loosening your body up. And then loosening your mind up at the same time.
I like it. So we'll hit our final topic, which is, let's say we put all of that into place. We're super motivated. Come January 3rd, we're rock stars. How do you maintain it? How do you make it systematic so that you're not one of those, I think it was like 80 or 90% that abandon their New Year's resolution?
By like February, I think it's by Valentine's Day.
It's done. Well, first of all, don't call it a New Year's resolution.
Okay,
that's our first thing. Don't call it a New Year's resolution, because it's not, right? Like, we want to be healthy for a lifetime. So we want to call this a sustainable plan. A plan that so not for this year, or not for next year, or not for an event we have in 6 months. But like, this is it. We want to be healthy for a lifetime. So that's the first thing. Don't call it a New Year's resolution. Next thing, tell people in your office, tell your friends. Like, tell people your plan. Hey, I'm going to get up and go to the gym, or I'm going to get up, walk 3 miles a day. Whatever your goal is, write it down to realistic goals.
And put it on social media. People will definitely
put it on social media, because we know nobody's listening to this about the phones. Everyone's still going to be on their phone. So put it on social media, and then tell people, whether it's 3, 4 people. I know myself, like, I've done kind of big, fitness things in the last year I never thought I would do. And I knew if I didn't tell people, I may not actually do it.
Yeah.
So I told people, I put it out there, and you are so much more accountable if you do that. So that's the first thing. No New Year's resolutions. It's just a bad phrase. And then write it down and tell people.
Okay. I like it.
And write it down yourself. Write it down in your office. Have a little, saying in your office, a little inspirational quote, or whatever your goal is. Big letters. Your goal is, stick it on your office.
So we did internally. This year we really tried to step up our marketing efforts, and just last month, as part of those marketing efforts, we all agreed to have accountability partner, somebody who would check in on us once a month to make sure that we're doing what we actually say we're going to do. So if you find a friend or a coworker that is having the same struggle as you, join forces with them, make them your accountability coach. You don't necessarily need to pay for one, but something like that too.
Yeah, there's tons of people in your office who are in the same boat as you. People may want to lose weight, or just move more, or they want to lower their blood levels. They're not doing well diabetes-wise or blood pressure. Everybody wants to have some goal. So find that person and make yourselves accountable.
And I always found like having like committing to an event, like say a race or something like that's a challenge halfway through the year, and maybe roping someone into work to do it with you, so you guys can maybe train together or just at least motivate each other to keep on track for whatever, say you want to do like a half marathon in July and you both are doing it and you can both work together and reach that goal. So then you're less likely.
Or 5K, right?
Yeah,
Something
5K.
Or a mile.
Whatever works.
Or the Kid Fun Run. That's what I'm going to sign up for, is the Kid Fun Run.
Each their own, whatever you want to do. You might win the Kid Fun Run though.
My daughter will probably beat me. She's 7 years old
She's
and
pretty
she's
fast.
faster than me.
And you guys have done that, right? Your office has done runs together.
We did the
and
Philly
walks.
5K. Yeah, I walked it. You guys ran it. But.
Yeah, we did a few others too, but those are always fun too because you're doing it with your colleagues, but it's motivating to have like other people that there with you doing it together. And I think it's more fun than doing it on your own.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's fun to kind of like, see people outside the office in a non-stress environment where you're doing something athletic that you feel good about.
Well, I think this has been awesome. When we talked and prepped for this podcast, I said I really wanted to make it actionable advice, and you have the best actionable advice out there. It's not just, motivation is great, but you really need, if somebody can just take one or two things versus, research the restaurant before you go, get a Fitbit, something that actually you can take a step toward. I think that's key. So wrapping up, tell people where they can find you and what you're doing these days in the corporate wellness coach world.
Sure. So it's my website is mlcfitness.com, and Instagram and Facebook is mlcfitness1. And I am kind of all over the place. I'm working with a bunch of companies, and I'm doing step challenges for them and coming in and teaching classes, fitness classes, nutrition classes. I'm working one-on-one, health coaching people. And then on a personal training level, I'm still personally training clients in their homes as well as up and down the East and West Coast on Skype.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage anyone to follow you on social media. You're pretty motivating.
Thank you.
and I'm pretty motivated myself to work out, and then I see you doing everything you're doing, so you're pretty motivating.
Well, awesome. Well, this has been a great podcast. I hope you come back. I do want to do a mental health one completely dedicated to mental health, and you'll have to come back for that one. But until then, thanks for joining everybody. Until the next time on The Defense Never Rests. See ya.